You are listening to the Raise Your Energy podcast. In today's episode, you will discover the powerful but overlooked way to bring more happiness into your life. Most people are not aware of this, but it has the power to instantly lift your spirits and make us feel happier. If you're already an eager listener to my podcast, I'm sure you are highly interested in bringing more joy into your life, especially if it is easy to apply and you're open for new insights that can elevate your life experience. So stay tuned to find out. What if I told you that there is a simple step that can help you to have more happiness in your life? If you are like most people, then you want to bring more joy, happiness, and fun into your life. You aspire to it. You seek out things, a career, or relationship that hopefully bring you closer to these desired emotions. And that makes complete sense. But at the same time, it takes time and effort, and quite often when we reach the next stage, or we achieve what we dreamed of, we can be disappointed, or we don't really feel how we wanted to feel. Today I'm going to share with you a simple way for you to impact your feelings and to improve them. A step in how you can influence your feelings and improve them in an easy and simple way. And that step that I'm going to share with you is the awareness of how emotions actually work. If you understand what emotions are, how they work, and how they get created in your day-to-day life, you have the key to change them, to transform them into higher levels of emotions. And this is not a trick or an elaborate tool that you need to learn. No, just the knowledge and awareness of what I'm going to share with you today will be enough for you to simply apply it into your life. Straight after this episode, you will see benefits happening in your life if you apply it. Quite often we think emotions are byproducts of what happens to us and around us. Something that just comes with living in this world. If they are good emotions, we are happy about them, obviously. And if they are not so desirable emotions, we try to ignore them, hide them away for nobody to see, shove them deep down inside of us until they pop up again and again. And sometimes at the wrong moments, right? Does that sound like something you have experienced before? If yes, you are in the right place. I feel you. What if we can influence our emotions by just being more aware of them and give them some attention? Can you imagine feeling 5, 10, or even 20% more joy and happiness by tomorrow? And what would your life look like if you do feel better and more positive? What possibilities do you have in your future if you wake up tomorrow feeling better than the last few mornings? I will share with you how powerful your emotions are. We are going to touch base on what emotions are and how they work in ourselves. And with a fresh view and understanding of emotions, you can change your life. I have been able to grow tremendously over the last year by understanding what emotions actually are and how I can use this awareness in my everyday life. I want you to experience the same and take charge of your emotional state. And I understand if it might not be your cup of tea to talk about your emotions. That's not what is going to be required today. Well, not at this first step in the process. Just think about it. We never learn to talk or deal with our emotions effectively. There was no class or lesson at school that covered what emotions are, how they work, what they do to us and for us, and how we can actually leverage that knowledge. But think about this for a minute. Do you think that truly happy and well-balanced people don't know about any of that and have never questioned what emotions actually are? Yeah, there are people that are naturally of a positive nature and seem to live a fulfilled and happy life. They never hold a grudge, they don't get frustrated or angry with anybody. And they can't really explain it, and they just say, well, that's just how I am. I don't get angry or frustrated. And have you heard of an example of it, or even maybe seen it, where such a person suddenly explodes? From one day to another, they just quit their job because they always hated it. They move out of their house and get a divorce because they have not loved their partner for a long time. Or they just start to be completely different. A person who suddenly argues and disagrees with people. And you think to yourself, wow, where does that come from? They must have bottled all of that up for years. These people might have seemed to live a happy life without knowing anything about emotions. But where did it really lead them? So, might it be helpful to understand more about emotions instead of hoping for a seemingly positive nature to come around the corner? Hell yes. Are you the person who rather wants to take your happiness into your own hands? And you might already be aware that you do have emotions that don't feel great or bring you in a bad mood or state of mind. And maybe you are asking yourself already, how can I change this? How can I feel better? How can I be happier? And without waiting for something to magically press a happiness button, right? I can imagine living with these questions for the next decades and not changing anything is not an option for you. I know that. I truly believe if we start understanding our emotions and getting to know them, we take the first big step towards being able to feel better more often. And that's what we're going to talk about today in this first step. So let's get right into it. When we talk about emotions, we classify them positive emotions and negative emotions. Examples of positive emotions are joy, fun, happiness, bliss, peace, gratitude, and so many more. And then we have negative emotions like frustration, anger, guilt, shame, feeling afraid, worry, hatred. But all of these, the positive ones and the negative ones, are judgments that we make. But what are emotions actually? Emotions are energy in motion. The energy that is moving around in your body when we have a thought or a bodily experience or reaction. The energy of emotion is triggered when we think something specific or we take information in through our 5 senses. And we experience this energy in a certain way. Different emotions feel differently, right? We feel them in different places in our body. Our body reacts in different ways when we have an emotion. As an example, when we feel love or gratitude, we feel it quite often in the heart space of our body. But if we feel anxious, we might feel it in our tummy, like a stone or a knot. So we give labels to these energy experiences. It's kind of a judgment. But how, right? How are we making this judgment of what kind of labeled emotion this particular energy is? Well, we learned it when we were young. Growing up, we are told what the emotions are that we're feeling. We might have been in a situation where we did not get what we wanted and we stomped our foot down. And then someone told us, You are feeling frustrated. You are frustrated. That's how we collected the labels for the different emotions. And universally, we are mostly aligned on what each of these emotions are, with maybe some variances depending on cultures or languages. Because nobody can really know how you feel. We cannot touch it, see it, hear it, smell it, or taste it. We cannot feel what somebody else feels. So we needed to find a way how to communicate it to somebody else. So this classification of positive and negative emotions is man-made. We decided to put these feelings on the good side and these feelings on the bad side, with some grey areas in the middle. Some feelings can be seen as good or bad depending on the situation. I hope you still follow me. Just to recap, an emotion is an energy that is running through your body in a particular way. And we as humans categorize them generally into negative and positive feelings. By understanding that your emotions are triggered energies, you can see this emotion for what it is. You don't have to live through it and believe that you are this emotion, or that you have literally no say in it. With this awareness, you can put some distance between yourself and the emotion you're currently having and observing. You can say, yes, I'm feeling sad about this event, instead of saying, I am sad. Making the statement, I am sad, means you're giving your control over to the description of the emotion. And remember, we humans just described emotions to share them with others, not for them to have control over us. So the energy you're experiencing is a bodily reaction to the current event, situation, or thought you're having. And it is valid and meaningful to feel sad at certain moments. Don't think you're not going to have negative emotions anymore. They are normal and important for our mental balance and to assess life around us. Remember, we don't want to explode by bottling up any kind of negative emotions over time. But if you know that this is a feeling you currently experience, you have the distance and capacity to understand that this will end. And you are in a better position to assess when it is the right time to move on from this feeling. You don't have to stay long in this feeling, which influences your state of mind and your state of being. You don't have to stay sad too long or until somebody else tells you to stop being sad. You are the driver of your emotions van. You decide where to stop and for how long. You don't have to camp out anymore in one uncomfortable and cold place and wait for something or someone to come to you and tell you to drive on and go to a nicer place. After having felt sad for the right time, you are now able to pack it up and move on. And yes, you decide what the right time is, because we are all individual beings. Does that not sound like something helpful? To be able to recognize the emotions that we are feeling, to value them, to feel them, and to decide for ourselves when it is enough and when it would be better for our well-being to move on. Is that not more caring for ourselves and the people around us if we have the capability and use it? With this awareness that you just obtained, start observing your emotions more. When you do feel a negative emotion, try to describe the emotion. Say something like, I feel frustrated with a project, instead of saying, I am frustrated. Take this first step to understanding and be aware of your emotions more regularly. And you will be able to influence them quicker and more easily. And by doing that, you start to be able to make better decisions about your emotions and how long you want to stay in one. I hope this makes sense to you. I hope you can see that this awareness and knowledge brings you a huge step closer to having more positive emotions in your life because you can control them. You can be in charge of your emotional state and what you're feeling. You can decide to end a negative emotion and move towards a more positive emotion because you are in charge. I truly hope that you implement this into your life. At a minimum, try it out and give it a go. And let me know what you experience and how your relationship with your emotions is changing. And if you are interested in learning more and how you can apply this into your life, you have a chance to join my new program this September. This is what we are going to focus on together for 6 weeks. Head over to lindalange.com/waitlist. Sign up for the waitlist to make sure that you get all the information first. I would love to work with you. And if you know somebody who could benefit from this awareness and this episode, then please share it with them. Send them a message so they listen to this episode as well. And please subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss the next episode, and leave a review if you liked it. And with that, I love you and leave you. Talk soon, and bye-bye.